Hey everyone, this is Shahid Iqbal with the Film Festival. This year's podcast are sponsored by American Urdu.TV. With us, we have Kamal Khan all the way from Los Angeles, California. Kamal is also showcasing a film that he has just made called Almost Home. It's going to be playing on Sunday. So if you haven't watched your ticket yet for a film festival, make sure you do so for the Sunday morning and afternoon sessions to watch Kamal's film. So we're going to start off with Almost Home, Kamal, and then we'll drill down into who you are and how and all it started. So let's start from the fact that last year you were making this film, it was not done, so it couldn't be in that film festival. So tell us the journey, what inspired you, what were the challenges, and now that it's done, it's going to be featured tomorrow, how do you feel about all that?
Very excited, and first of all, thank you for having us here at the Rock Film Festival. Very excited to be here in Houston, and so it's first of all, if anyone hasn't been, and definitely come to the shows tomorrow. We're always inspired by, I think, I'm from the UK, from the Tamil magic, but there's Pakistanis, as I mentioned before, everywhere. It's global, but the thing is that one of the things that I noticed coming to the US was that people didn't know that much about where the different identities within South Asian, Pakistanis especially, and then with lots of differences, Indians and whatnot. Then you've got Afghanistan in the mix. And for me, my dad was actually in the military for a short time, British military. And I was inspired by speaking to a few people in the military here in the US. And especially, I wanted to touch on a topic that I think we all sense, which is the fact that you have an identity as being a Muslim Pakistani, and the fact that the verbiage used for a Muslim is Islamist or Islamophobia or jihadist. It has negative connotations. Where you have other things, you don't have a Christianist and whatnot. And my focus was to use the media to storytell. To have them change things to a positive light, or shed a different way, if you like, using storytelling. And being patriotic, being in this country, being in the UK, I felt there's an opportunity for us to tell our story in a different light. And that's why I came up with Almost Home. So it's mental health. We're dealing with that, which I think is common to a lot of people.
And it's a good topic too in our community, right?
It is.
Mental illness, they almost think pagal ho gaya.
Yeah. Pagal, yes, or in some places they're Molybdenum back in the day. So I think this is kind of weird, So the story is actually that he's suffering from an identity crisis because he actually is a patriot. He's married to a Caucasian wife. But he is a Muslim who practices and he's proud of his country, but he's also proud of his roots. And he comes back and he's finding that there's bigots he's dealing with who don't really respect the fact that he was into that, and that's commonplace. And then the added burden of being a South Asian Muslim person, Pakistani, and the fact that his own community, whether he goes to his mosque or his own community, don't welcome him because they're like, hang on a minute, you killed your own people.
Yeah.
So now he's so that's really cool. So that, anyway, to me it resonated because I've also seen people, friends of mine, who've been turned away from the US, which really isn't representative of what the US is about. So I wanted to tell a story that would hopefully change people's minds as a social impact film for that reason. So I was inspired, I would like to turn things around a little bit. If I can be a drop in the ocean, a quick little wave, to maybe change that verbiage, right, of all these heroes, or jihadists and so forth, but actually directly saying it's still in a struggle, which is what jihad really means, in a struggle, not really why I'm in a struggle. So that's where I came from.
Wonderful. So how long, tell us about the production process. What were the challenges in that? Because it's a narrative that's not found very easily, right? So finding funding for that, finding actors for that. I mean, you are in Los Angeles, California, the mecca of film, right? But still, being that South Asian that we are, what were those some challenges, some production related challenges that others can learn from?
Yeah, I mean, look, filmmaking has its own challenges anyway, right? It's stuff, right? So it took me a long time. I hadn't written before, a script at least. It took me a few years, so it was probably take someone like 6 months or so. So I thought about this idea back in COVID, in fact, collaborated with
Fully baked idea.
yeah, that's right. Collaborated. In fact, the idea came, I have to give credit to Farhan Tahir as well. Him and I knew on certain things together, and he's a good guy and to guide me as to what that might look like. And he's an EP on this film, by the way. So him and I talked, and I just felt the script formed, right? And I was like, I'm going to do a feature film and do a short film, right? So, well, I didn't want to do a feature film, but I was like, you know what, short film, quick to market, but as you can see, it took a long time as well anyway. But also, it's a challenging topic. Nobody really wants to touch it. It's very good, people say it's political. People who are for it were like, hang on a minute, you're Islamophobia, why do you want to put me in that? No, it's okay. So I said, no, hang on a second, just to listen to what I have to say. It's a story that I think would be interesting. And then plus on top of that, I put my kids in it too. So they're acting in it. And but I had a very good director, Menraj Huda, credit as well. He is he's worked on several films, and he's a great talent. Basically supporting the story. He's from the UK as well. And
शायद आप बोलते हैं यार नहीं यार लाइफ तो बहुत
wanted to make this film as well. I think the most important it's a right team here. So I got everything like Ron, the supported people who were in the film. I had lots of interest for people eventually who were like-minded people. So I would say, fine, you have the naysayers, but look people that really want to do this with you. And you'd be surprised if you'd be fine. We also collaborated with other people who were 501c3 who would support us so we could get locations and things like that. Because it's a military film, so remember at the same time I had my other producer, Cameron Monroe, and is also a former Air Force, so this is a veteran. And then I had Sadia Ashraf, who's a rising flight film. So those are 4 key producers, so I built that team around that. So having those people, their expertise, input into the film was very important. And then we built it from there and decided to then, oh gosh, the challenge is we're putting it all in 3 days, shooting in LA, not somewhere else, right? In fact, Farhan was going to be in the film.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
He was, but unfortunately couldn't make it. And so the last minute struggle, so it took about challenges. I think it was 3 days before, we ended up getting Bernie White, who plays in the film too. So Bernie White, Silicon Valley, Matrix, Revolution, it's great. So I've got a great cast and crew. I didn't even sort of think about this so much, but I've got 5 kids in the film.
That was my next question. Like, here we have Pakistani Desi parents couldn't get enough of getting their kids to be doctors and actors, doctors and engineers and lawyers and businessmen, and you were bringing your own kids into the film. So that's a revolutionary family, in my opinion.
Yeah, so my 2 kids, yes, of course, they're actors anyway, so we got Robert Timothy Smith, who's leading the Skeleton Crew. He's a regular, and he actually, my son worked with him on Star Wars, so they were kind enough to play one of those characters in there. And another actor as well. So we really, so we had actually 5 handwrites, like Northern County. And then we have, another kid who actually is also South Asian. So working with animals and children is always a challenge, right? So they were always a challenge. I think slowed down. At one point, we had to think about work permits for the kids and things like that. So these are very things that are nuanced you don't normally get in a normal. You and I in a room filming film and done, right? And that's what I was encouraged to do. Come on, but I did keep it. So that was so things like that always happen. Like, it's your tenacity, your persistence to really want to get the message out. And then within that, we ran out of money. So fundraising, we're not just talking about making the film, it's post-production, it's all of it, it's marketing, right? But thankfully we got this, we put a package together, we had some people who were very supportive and crowdfunding as well. So I encourage those people out there to go do some crowdfunding.
Absolutely.
I'll ask your friends and family for it. Crowdfunding really does help And then people who really buy into what you're doing, your message, your social impact message. And then you put your own money in and you're passionate about it and there's something about doing it and leverage your contacts.
Absolutely. So, what's next for Kamal after almost home? Can you share any new project that you're working on or any inspirations for something new?
Yeah, I mean, I want to do a lot of things. That's it.
I can tell.
I think it could be a lighter topic, like some comedy in there. So I'm trying to talk that. And loving it. And yeah, so there's something that's sort of brewing at the moment that I'm going to be working on, which I might have more light on. This is pretty, a serious topic. But we also want to make a feature out of this, don't forget. So that is the goal of mine. I also sang a song, so it's my single there. So if I had high hopes, my ultimate goal is to make a musical. So one day that dream is realized. And I think anything's possible, but I think that's what's next. I definitely would. There is a musical side too, which I miss. That's really where my heart is as well.
Yeah, so how do you balance this acting versus singing and composing music? Is it a struggle for you, or you said that you sang your own song in the movie? So what are the challenges that you come naturally to you?
To me, it's natural that music is part of what I am, and I'm singing in Urdu or Punjabi or in whatever it may be, and in English too. I like to fuse the two. All about collaboration. So for me, I actually have two songs in the film. The one is the original one. There's a song I did way back in London called Jeevan. That's actually in the background of one of the scenes in a restaurant, in a Pakistani restaurant. So, I was proud to have that in the background. You might can't hear it very much, but at the same time, that's there as well. And so, if you don't know stuff, use it. And you didn't have to get licensing rights.
Absolutely. Yeah. More power to that. So, last but not least, I know you were trying to come last year also, but you couldn't for your obvious reasons. This is your first year, this is our second year doing it. Any feedback you want to share with us? What can we do better? What can be good? Just anything that comes to your mind.
Do more of this, honestly. Shahid, I mean, this is amazing. We've been in a community together, and Houston's a great place to do it. And I think, the fact that, I'll give you a funny story, right? I texted you this, but I was in Uber coming back, and I basically had a French lady who was really aware of the Pakistani community, and I was talking to this whiny there. She was at the Rum Film Festival, and I sent her the website, and she's coming, hopefully. She said, yes, I want to come and check it out. And I talked about Pakistan, she said, food as well? Yes, food as well, and a concert. And then I gave her the code. Right? My code, my name. And then I met with the Pakistani guy who was driving me, and he said he wants to keep my kids too. It's pretty long. So I'm saying that they weren't aware of it, the point being. And I'm glad in a way because there's an opportunity to get more people aware of it. All I wanted to do was really get them aware of this brilliant film festival that exists here in Houston, nowhere else, first of its kind. So my feedback is, let's get some more marketing support out there and celebrate this wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. No, I think your efforts for the RFF podcast, I think that will go way more than we could imagine. And just like we this year, we're partnering with Sundar Price Film Festival out of Vancouver. So Bhavesh came all the way from Vancouver, right? You came all the way from LA, and last night you saw so many people from different parts of the US and Canada. So I think we're doing a little bit right.
Oh, you are, and it's not just Pakistanis. I mean, you've got people from Pakistan, I think you've got people from all the world. It doesn't have to be French films. I mean, yeah, right. So thank you for putting it together and the opportunity that for such a, it's bring the arts together, right? So I think that's the only thing I would say is bring it on.
Thank you very much, Kamal.
Thank you.